Hey, welcome. Ever looked at a big, messy idea and wondered, how on earth does that become a real research project? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unpack that whole journey, from those huge, abstract questions all the way to concrete answers. Let's dive in. I want to start with this quote because it totally gets to the heart of what real discovery is all about. It's not always about finding some new, hidden thing. Most of the time, it's about shifting how you see the things that are right in front of all of us. Exactly. The real breakthrough, the aha moment, it comes from a new perspective. It's about looking at the very same world everyone else is looking at, but with a new way of thinking that just unlocks a whole new level of understanding.
And that right there, that's the big question every single researcher has to answer, whether they know it or not. It all boils down to your starting point, your philosophical starting point. So let's figure out what that actually means.
Okay, so before you even think about spreadsheets or experiments, you've got to start with philosophy. Now, I know, that sounds super abstract, right? But trust me, it is the most practical, most important first step you can possibly take. It's the foundation for everything else. So the key word here is paradigm. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's the pair of glasses you choose to wear when you look at the world. And these glasses, they don't just affect your vision, they fundamentally shape what you believe is real, what you think is knowable, and even what you decide is valuable. The first part of those classes is your ontology. This is all about your core belief about reality itself. So for instance, is a big corporation a real objective thing that exists out there, kind of like a skyscraper? Or is it just a shared idea, a social construct that only exists because we all agree it does? That question, that's ontology. Okay, next up, epistemology. So if ontology asks what's real, epistemology asks how can we actually know about it? Can we know if that company is doing well just by looking at its stock price, a hard, objective number? Or do we have to go interview the people who work there to understand their personal experiences? That's epistemology. And finally, there's axiology. This one tackles the role of your own values. Should your research be totally neutral, completely value-free, or is it inevitable that your own ethics and beliefs are going to shape the process, and maybe, just maybe, that's actually a good thing? Right, so with those three pieces, ontology, epistemology, and axiology, we can now start to see how they combine to create the actual glasses, the paradigms that researchers choose from. Let's take a look at the main options on the table. And this is absolutely crucial. There is no single correct paradigm, not one. Each one is just a different lens, and each lens brings different things into focus. Choosing one is a very deliberate decision about what you want to see and how you're going to see it. So this chart kind of maps it all out. For example, a positivist researcher believes reality is single and objective, so naturally they're going to rely on hard numbers and things they can verify. A constructivist, on the other hand, sees reality as something socially created with multiple viewpoints, so their whole approach is about interpreting people's subjective experiences. And then you have pragmatism, which is super flexible. It just looks at the problem and asks, hey, what's the best tool for this job, even if it means mixing things up? So, you've picked out your glasses, you've got a worldview. Now what? How do you get from that massive, big-picture philosophy all the way down to a single question you can actually answer? Well, this is where we focus the lens. The best way to picture this is like a funnel. Each step logically narrows down your field of view. You start with your paradigm, your whole universe of ideas. Then you pick a broad topic, which is like picking a galaxy. You define a problem, which narrows it to a star system. And finally, you formulate that one specific question that lets you explore a single planet. Now that key jump happens right in the middle, with a step called problematization. This isn't just about noticing something is wrong. It's the real intellectual work of taking a general interest, like, say, I'm interested in pollution, and sharpening it into a very specific gap or a tension that your research can actually solve. Let's make this real. Your broad topic is microplastic contamination. Through problematization, you pinpoint the exact gap. We don't have enough local data. And that leads you directly to a super sharp, answerable research question. See how that funnel works? It guides you right to your target. All right, time for the last piece of the puzzle, the blueprint. Once you have that razor-sharp question, the paradigm, those glasses you picked at the very beginning, logically points you to the exact right set of tools for the job. And generally speaking, this leads you down one of two main paths. You've got the quantitative path, think numbers, measurement, statistics. This is often tied to that positivist worldview. Then you have the qualitative path, all about understanding meaning through stories, interviews, and observations, which is often linked to constructivism. And here is where you can see that final connection just click into place. Your approach tells you the study type, and the study type tells you the specific technique. It's a clean, logical chain. So if you're doing qualitative ethnography to understand a culture, of course your technique is going to be participant observation. If you're doing a quantitative experiment, you're going to use pre- and post-tests. See? It all connects. But wait, there's a modern twist to all of this. Layered on top of this entire process, researchers today have these incredibly powerful new assistants that can speed up pretty much every single step. I'm talking about artificial intelligence. Now, the key here is to think of these AI tools as assistants, not replacements for your brain. They can seriously accelerate your workflow. You can use ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas, DeepL to translate papers, Mendeley to organize all your sources. It frees you up to focus on the hard part, the actual thinking and interpretation. Okay, so let's pull all these different threads together and zoom back out. What's the big picture? What's the main takeaway from this whole look at research methodology? If there is one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Really great research is not just a checklist of random steps. It's a coherent story where every single choice you make flows logically from the one before it. It's a journey, right? It starts with your deepest beliefs about the world. Those beliefs shape the question you ask. That question tells you which methods to use, and those methods determine the evidence you gather to tell your final story. Every single step has to line up. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We've talked a lot about how every paradigm is a lens that helps you focus. But the really tricky question is this: what important truths might that very same lens, the one that gives you so much clarity on one thing, be stopping you from seeing altogether?